we going, guys? We are back with another grain to glass video. We are doing the number 2 session IPA. Only thing that sets us apart from number 1 is the hop addition. So running with the same grain bill, 3.5 kilos of ale malt, 70% of the grain bill, and 1.5 kilograms of Pilsner 2-row, 30% of the grain bill. What sets it apart? This one has 10 grams of Chinook at 60 minutes, bringing in 14.3 IBUs. Second edition at 30 minutes is 15 grams of Strata, bringing in a further 18.1 IBUs, and a big dry hop for this one. It is getting 40 grams of Calypso at day 3 or high Krausen. Once again, we are using a Kvike yeast. We'll go back to the Fram Garden for this one. Session 1 has the Scar going into it. We have cubed it. We hot cubed that. We're going to just throw it in the swimming pool to get it down to temperature as quick as possible. Slow down the utilization of them hops that we've put in at the last several events in the boil. Starting off at 26.66, same water, mash water, strike water level. 3.34 of sparge water, which just brings us to a total of 30 litres. So there's a slight variant in the two recipes in the amount of levels. I haven't double checked that. Starting mash water is 26.6. Aim for 19 litres. This one's actually 21 litres. We'll just knock that back and save it. Session 1 came in with we filled a 20 litre cube. We still had some left over at the end of it, so we will just we use what was left of that to go back in to this one, to session 2. That brings us back now. So everything's looking the same. Slightly lower IBUs on this one. 1060 is the original gravity with a finish of 1.009. Same mash schedule, everything's pretty much the same. So fire away. It will be around about the 6.7%, so a little bit higher ABV for this one. Anyway, that's less IBUs, bigger ABV. Bit of difference in both of those session IPAs. A little bit over the session mark for the alcohol content, but that is what it is.
Actually, can I just ask you, what sort of experience do you have to become a roulette pilot? So all the pilots in the team actually qualify with flying instructors in the Air Force. In order to get there, they've done about 10 years of work. They've flown an operational pilot. Currently in the team, we have pilots from
Hey guys, Mick here from Not Cartel. Just checking in with the grain to glass for the session IPA number 2. As you can see, it's very hazy. We went with quite a heavy dry hop schedule with this one, so we tweaked it a little bit towards the end. End up dropping a bit of Chinook and a bit of Strata. 50 grams of each. Gone into that. Dry hop. Beautiful colour. Very juicy looking. Nice carbonation on it now. Was lacking a little bit, but has picked up quite well. aroma. Picking up a lot of pineapple actually on the aroma. A little bit of citrus there, citrus pith. Some pine, but a lot of pineapple. Which I don't mind. That's sort of when you get that pine and the pineapple, a little bit of citrus, it makes for a really nice beer. Taste. Drinking drinking more like a West Coast actually, the traditional West Coast, the old school West Coast sort of IPAs. There's something a little bit, I wouldn't call it hop burn. I think it's just more that the two hops, the combination of Chinook and Strata, almost bring across a higher degree of pithiness. Could be a little bit of burn, but hot burn. But apart from that, look, it's aroma-wise very appealing. Flavour's unreal, colour's unreal. I'm sure if I was to share it, I would get probably more of a genuine feedback on someone's thoughts on it. Other than that, once again, look, I'm pretty happy with it. I'll be happy with anything that I brew. Not really been disappointed in a lot of stuff that I've been brewing lately. Just slowing down, taking a step back, and allowing a little bit more time to process what's going on throughout the day, throughout the brew day, throughout the schedules, hopping the schedules, yeast selection versus the recipe. I've found that particularly with session IPA number 1 and session IPA number 2, using the Fram Garden Kvake yeast in number 1, and we use a scar in this one, maybe some of the scar coming through on the aroma and flavour of this one. But I found using the Kvake yeast, that the more simple the recipe is when it comes down to the grain bill, and pairing your hops that will go better with the yeast, the outcome's a whole lot better. So this one's a lot more drier in the finish than number 1 was, but I did play around with the adjusting the temperature throughout the fermentation as well with this one. So the hops went in, one of the dry hops went in at the warmer end, and then the other one went in at the cooler end of it. So I think we went in at we brought it down to 12 degrees after finishing fermentation at 28, and then a dry hop of the Strata onto 12 degrees, and then held it there for a day or two, and then bring it down to a cold crash. And actually, it was a noticeable change from 28 down to 12 between having the Chinook and then putting the Strata in, having the Strata sit for a couple of days. Got to a point where I thought I was quite happy with the tastings at 12 degrees, and then we went for a cold crash, and we did manage to harvest quite. It was around about 250 grams of yeast off the top of it. So very good. Cheers.